Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is the 1700th episode of this series. And wow. Is it something, though, that this particular view series I put a lot more time in, and the fact this has produced a lot more videos, even more than my movie reviews, remember those? My novel reviews, remember these? Even the Super Sentai ones, even Doctor Who. Doctor Who was something I recently started last year. But this one consistently going on pretty much ever since I started doing my reviews. And it's taken me a long time to get this far. It took me a little over 8 years. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, basically reviewing videos. And I'm not stopping now. Nope. Yeah. Who would have thunk, though, when I did my very first video for this series, it was actually in my old house, in my old bedroom, and now basically I'm here in my current bedroom. Yep. Yeah, and also my background has slightly changed a bit because originally when I first moved here, my dresser was actually behind me. Instead, now it's basically. I know you can't see it now, but because of the chair I'm sitting in, the bookshelf behind me. Let's see if I can do this here. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Yes, that's mostly the chair I'm sitting in. Yeah, I've gone through a few different desk chairs as well. We're still in the process of getting me a new desk chair. Yeah, I don't remember what I did in my first video because it's been a long time since I did it. I know early on, basically, I was doing some visual issues. After a few episodes, I stopped doing it for a while. And I just basically took the trades for a long period of time. And in the last couple of years, I've actually brought the whole concept back, talking about individual issues. Mainly just so I can finish up a series run. That's mainly the whole purpose of it. This will be discussing 2 vendor trades. First up is an Epic Collection. Yes. Excuse me, we have Avengers West Coast, Volume 1, How the West Was Won. This book collects the initial 4-issue miniseries that was the very first volume for Avengers West Coast. Well, actually it was referred to at the time as West Coast Avengers. It had become, the title didn't change, so I think it was like issue 40, I think it was during the Vision Quest storyline. And the first 7 issues of the second volume for this series was the ongoing run. That lasted 102 issues. This book also contains Iron Man and number 7. The most noteworthy thing about this annual, aside from the fact I have guest appearance by the West Coast Avengers, is this is the first time when Eric Johnson, the guy who's currently in modern day, it was Atlas. This is when he first assumed the identity of Goliath. He was, at the time, the 3rd ever person to do this. The first person was Hank Pym, the second person was Hawkeye, and he's the 3rd one. And this was, at the time, his 3rd identity he had assumed. Because in his debut, he called himself Power Man. And then fought Luke Cage. Got the crap beat out of Luke Cage, so he changed his name to The Smuggler. Yeah, he did it in an issue of Peter Parker, this particular Spider-Man of all things. And then he shows up as Iron Man Annual, which seems quite weird that a character first appeared of Avengers had changed his name to issue of an annual of Iron Man. Yep. Of course, this book also contains the first 2 issues of the 12-issue run that was I think it was the first or second volume for Vision and Scarlet Witch, which mostly just explores their marriage in the 80s. This is, of course, written by Steve Eckhart. The only reason why they're here is because it's part of a crossover with the West Coast Avengers. This book even includes a Wonder Man one-shot. You're thinking, a one-shot for Wonder Man? Well, there's kind of a reason for that, because, well, this is actually before he got his very brief ongoing series. How brief was it? 29 issues. And a few issues part of a crossover I will eventually cover one day, Operation Galactic Storm. Yep. The one-shot was mostly just Simon battling the Sandman. Yes, Simon Williams battles a Spider-Man villain. The Sandman, of course. Of course, book also contains material from some issues of Avengers. Basically contains material excerpts from Avengers 249, 243, 244, and 256. You know, they do have one full Avengers issue here, and that was 250. Mostly put with those early issues. This is mostly from Hawkeye's perspective. This is just after the events of his miniseries he had, where he met his beautiful wife Mockingbird. Where they met, and apparently by the end of the miniseries, they got married off panel, and the Avengers knew nothing about the fact he was married. Well, that was until the events of Secret Wars. Yes, they do reference that in here, so basically this starts the aftermath of Secret Wars. So, basically, based on a suggestion made to him by the Vision, who at this point in time was leader of the Avengers. Yes, the cover of the story is The Vision Takes Command. Yes, seriously, that is the cover they chose this thing, which I found to be so hilarious. The fact that basically, yeah, it was during a period of time where there was a storyline where the Vision tried to take over the world via computers, but then basically, in order to calm people down, basically, it was perfectly fine. Yep. So, with this team, basically, he's suggested to start a West Coast branch because the Avengers roster expanded so much, we gotta split into two groups. So we take this group, move out to West Coast. Now in here, you read the first issue, like, wait, how the heck did Clint Barton get this mansion? Well, that's actually not explained into a backup story in the third to last issue of the ongoing series. In issue 100. The very same issue which at the time killed off Mockingbird. Though Bendis later retconned that was actually not Mockingbird, but a Skrull posing as her. Yeah, that was simply one of his little retcons just to bring back the character because she's a really good character. So, basically the explanation for it is that an aging actress decided to sell her mansion to Clint Barton, and then she dies while defending them against a bunch of gangsters, and they get the mansion anyways. The mansion itself is referred to as Avengers Compound, and this is the primary base of operations the entire run. The place itself was damaged multiple times over the course of this run. Yep, and Roger Stern, who actually was writing this miniseries, he was the very first writer who wrote it, and then later on it was stayed over by, let's see, who did the initial ongoing book? I think it was Steve Englehart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Steve Englehart who did the main ongoing series. And in the main series, mostly put, they have, well, you have Hawkeye basically saying, Avengers, assemble! And just him, Mockingbird at the place. They'll eventually be joined by Iron Man, though don't worry, this is not Tony Stark. There's actually a little bit later, actually James Rhodes, aka War Machine. Yes, the explanation for this was because Tony Stark was not mentally competent to be Iron Man at this point, so James Rhodes becomes Iron Man for a very brief period of time until Tony Stark takes over the role again, and later on he does become War Machine. Yes. And they also joined by Tigra, which they do mention she actually had quit the main team, and she was asked to join this group, along with Wonder Man, who actually got a lot of character development throughout this run. Also, one thing I should point out, though, his hair is not black anymore. Oh, no, it's silver. No real explanation for it at all. Not really, no. As far as I can tell, they mostly put because they go out west. So, because Sam Williams is an actor now, because he used to have a company. They do mention he did have a company here. And the company went under because his brother embezzled from him. Who is the brother of Wonder Man, you might ask? The Grim Reaper, of course, who actually was the first villain of the ongoing series. The Grim Reaper's real name is Eric Williams. He's a guy who's got a cybernetic hand because he looks like the Grim Reaper. He called himself that. Yeah, he actually showed up after Sam Williams. They do bring up Sam Williams when he died and when he was resurrected. I do appreciate the fact that both Roger Stern and Steve Englehart brought that up. The annual for Iron Man, that's done by Dave Michelini, who was the writer. It was one of the many writers of the Iron Man at that point. He wrote a lot of the run, and I think the artwork for the book was done by Bob Layton. No, I don't think it was. The artwork for this mini-series was done by Bob Hall. We also have Luke McDonald, Al Milgram, Richard Howell, and Kerry Gremmel. This cover right here. This is Bob Hall, Brett Beating, and Veronica Guidi. The back cover artwork. This is Al Milgram, Victoria Ginnigan, and Joe Sinnott. Anybody thinking, who the heck is Victoria? Did she work on the book itself? She's not listed as anything. Joe Sinnott was actually the inker of the book. So was the thing with Brett Breeding. You're probably thinking, Veronica, she's probably thinking she was the colorist. No. She just worked on the book. Now, also, there was one original they did fight in the main miniseries. A guy called The Blank. Yes. He first showed up for issues 2 and 3. And then here's something really weird. His next appearance was not until Amazing Spider-Man 580. No, I'm not kidding about that. That was his very next appearance. Because for some reason they decided to have this character just disappear for a long period of time. Yes. Now, let me point this out, though. Issue 3 of West Coast Avengers came out in July 1984. That's when it was released. And as for the Amazing Spider-Man issue, that came out in December 2008. So roughly 24 years later, they had the character be brought back by Roger Stern, who did create the character, which appreciate him doing that. Though the artwork is not the book by Bob Hall, it's done by Lee Weeks. Yes. Why in the world they decided to have this character be absent for this long period of time? I don't know. It's kind of weird. And we also have appearance by Graviton, who's I believe he's an Iron Man villain, not mistaken. Yes, Franklin Hall. Yeah, a lot of the time usually fights Iron Man when I think of this guy. At one point, this guy died in this issue of Iron Man. Yeah, his thing is he's obsessed with gravity. He has made a ton of appearances over the years. I mean, he was here for most of his original volume. He was only absent for the opening issue. He's there for several issues of the next volume. He mostly appears a lot of the time over the years. His most recent appearance was actually in a couple issues of Shar-Ray. Yet the book focused on T'Challa's sister. Yep. And, well, then when the miniseries wrapped up, they did nothing with the group for about a year until they returned to pages of Avengers for issue 250, and then later on they got an ongoing series where during the book they offered, get this, the Thing membership part of the team. Yep, they had a Thing part of the roster for a brief period of time. Yes, the Thing, which he brought up in the book that he declined due to the fact he just quit the Fantastic Four at that point due to problems involving his girlfriend marrying his best friend, marrying Johnny Storm. This basically is a reference to when Alicia Masters married the Human Torch, issue 300 of Fantastic Four. Yep. Yep. And we also have stuff related to, of all things, like, there's also Maelstrom, I think his name is. He appears in these books too. And of course, the first issue is a 39-page spectacular. And the first thing you see is Hawkeye making out with his smoking hot wife. Yep. Yeah, and also Tiger's part of the team too. And also we have, in the first issue, we have Hank Pym join the roster. Yeah, he actually retired to being a superhero at this point. Yep. And in the book, he kind of started a relationship with Tigra, which he kind of continued recently. They brought it up in the 2010s again. But nothing's been really much done with that. No, not really. Because Janet wants something to do with him, though he's no longer around. We also have a guest appearance for the issue of Ultron Manape, who is a Black Panther villain, who made his first appearance in pages of Avengers of all things. Yeah, mostly put, this is a new Lethal Legion. And the first couple issues basically crossover with Vision Scarlet Witch, because Eckhart was writing the book at the time. So they had them take on like various other characters. And of course you also take on the Grim Reaper. And this woman here, she is Nocturna. She's currently dead. Yep, she is. And you're thinking, okay, when the heck did she die? You might ask. Well, they killed her off in the the Chaos War Dead Avengers miniseries. Yeah, this mostly put. Yeah, this is Nectira. That's basically her. I thought she was dead, but apparently she's alive again somehow. Probably because she's a mutant. Yeah. She apparently got revived in the most recent book for Sabretooth. Yeah, this mostly put is a new Lethal Legion. Yeah, this is a brand new incarnation of the group. Yeah, that's who the Avengers Go West Coast are fighting during the opening couple issues of this run. Which, by the way, this was the first appearance they made since Avengers 79. Which, that was back in 1970. Well, probably, yeah, basically 1970. That was the last time they fought them. They had a return fight with them in 1985. Yep, 1985. In a story called Family Ties, which is mostly a crossover between the opening issues of both these two runs. Yep. Which is interesting to say the least. And of course, with this book, we also have Iron Man join the group. Tony Stark, Iron Man. And let me show the back cover here. He's basically wearing the Silver Centurion armor. I love this armor. I think it's my friend Edgar is one of his favorite attires too. Yep. And basically Lethal Legion are only here for the first couple issues. And then they move on to a different group of villains. Interesting though, Edgar Hart brought back this group. Oh yeah, definitely. And then of course issue 3, they mostly just deal with like Kraven the Hunter. Yes, Kraven the Hunter in issue number 3. A Spider-Man villain. And then you have Master Padal. He actually is still occasionally appearing over the years. Yeah, he's a character who became loosely associated with the Scarlet Witch due to a piece of his soul. Yep. In this trade here, he's here for the issue 4. And then he disappearing here for quite a while. Issue 5, it's mostly the Avengers taking on a bunch of werewolves. Yeah, there's also stuff with Hawkeye and Wonder Man in this run here. Yeah. It's all about cats. That's mostly what that two-parter is. And then we have the last issue, the West Coast Avengers issues, is simply Hank Pym Mill with 2 Ultrons. Yeah. But this book is just really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just that damn good. I love Avengers West Coast. It is personally my favorite spin-off Avengers book that there is. I would say my second favorite is probably the Secret Avengers. I would say it's the tie between Secret Avengers and New Avengers because those 2 books were so freaking good. I love those books. Alright, moving on to Avengers Assemble. Volume 2. If I can get the right thing here. Here we go. There you go. Avengers Assemble Volume 2. Yeah, this is the book. Yep. And this book contains issues 12 to 23, issue 0, and 99. Yeah, most put 12 is mostly the Avengers' reaction to Hawkeye joining Thunderbolts. That's most of what issue 12 is. It's double-sided issue dealing with that. Which I kind of discussed this issue already thanks to, of course, the New Avengers trade, the Thunderbolts Classic. And then you have the annual for 1999, which basically deals with something related to Onslaught. Yep, that's mostly what this annual is. It's related to Onslaught and then deal with something in the wake of Onslaught's defeat. Now, unlike the main book, which is done by Kurt Busiek and George Perez, this is done by John Francis Moore and the artwork is done by Leonardo Benicio. And it's okay artwork per se. It's not terrible. It just doesn't feel like it fits Avengers. Yeah. But luckily, this is just one annual, and that's simply it. And then, simply put, basically, we have Star-Related New Warriors. Yep, they bring back New Warriors in this book, which did led to a brief spinoff for them, which got canceled like a year. Probably due to low sales. It was actually slightly longer than the revived Nova book by Eric Larson, which I found the book really good. Issue 14, Beast is back for a guest star appearance. Yep. And here's the weird thing about this issue. It led to a mini-series team up between Wonder Man and Beast. Yep, that's mostly put what this issue did. Issue 15 just deals with stuff on Triathlon. Yeah, that's mostly what this issue is, just focus on Triathlon. And deals with stuff related to Ultron. Yeah, deals with Ultron stuff related to him. And then you have issue 16 deal with the Wrecking Crew. Yes, the Wrecking Crew. Group of Thor villains who are nothing more than a joke. Even though they're Thor villains, the first appearance was issue of Defenders. Yeah, Defenders 17. Yeah, it's basically the Avengers versus the Wrecking Crew, which pretty fun issue. Yep. And then you have Carol Danvers wearing her old Miss Marvel costume. And 17 is not done by George Perez. This one's done by Jerry Ordway for an issue. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. It's still well, actually he does fill in for it. It's a fill-in issue. Yes, probably because Perez was busy with something else, so he decided to do this issue for Avengers. Doesn't really much of anything. And then we're back to the Wrecking Crew, the very next issue. It's kind of a weird thing, though, where issue 17 basically was like a detour, while 18 deals with a Wrecking Crew. Yep. The issue 0, it's a prelude to Ultron Limited. It was Ultron. Yeah, it's Ultron Limited. That's mostly what this is. It's pure setup for that particular storyline. Yep. Which pretty much consumes the rest of this trade. It's the stuff related to Ultron. Yep. At least you got to praise the fact Perez waited. Not Perez. Perez was one of the guys working on this. You got to praise the fact Kurt Busiek waited a while before he finally used Ultron. About 2 years in the book, he finally used him. Yep. And basically, just Ultron for the next few issues. The stuff with one of his wives, Akuma, which he later divorced her in a one-shot. Yep. If I remember correctly, the Ultron Limited storyline pretty much takes up the rest of the trade. It goes straight to issue 23 before it finally ends. But the storyline is fantastic. I love it. Oh yeah, I forgot. 22 is actually the one who actually wraps up. 23 is just a fight between Wonder Man and the Vision over Scarlet Witch. Yeah, that's simply what it is. Kind of weird way to end the trade. A story deal with a love triangle, but that's the best way to deal with it. Yep. The trade itself was really good. And with this book, I officially reviewed the first 35 issue because I've already discussed 35 right thanks to Maximum Security Trade. But yeah, we're getting there with this book. I'd say with the very next volume for the series, I'll probably get past like 40. Yep. Almost 50. Yep. So yeah, so that's it, particular review. I thought I would have time to do Attack on Titan tonight, which I may do it tonight. Might just go ahead and do it as this video. But these two trades, pure fun to read. I do recommend them. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye.